Hello friends and welcome to my channel Iballdesigningdeveloper. Like you all know that previously we have covered up many of the things using C++ language, and I hope you understand all the things which we have covered up yet. Like previously I have told you that what is class and objects in C++, and I hope you understand that all things. So today in this video we will be covering about class methods. Like we have learned about classes, like how we can use classes, why we use it, and what's the purpose to use that. But now we have to also understand that in classes we use some methods to just apply those classes on our program or any of the project which we are creating through C++. So we'll be seeing that how we can use that class methods here in C++. So I hope you'll be enjoying this video from start. So if you enjoy this amazing tutorial video of class methods from start, so remember to hit a like to this video. And if you're new on this channel, want to see more videos like that, so remember to subscribe. And after subscribing, the notification bell as well, so you can get the notifications of all my coming up videos which I'll be uploading on this channel. So now what we are waiting for, let's move to computer screen and let's get started. So now here we are on the computer screen, and like I've told you in the start that today in this video I'll be telling you about class methods, because we have already used classes in C++, and I hope you understand that if we are using classes, so how to use them and what's the purpose to use classes in C++. So like that we use class methods as well in C++. If we talk about methods, so methods are functions that belongs to class. There are two ways to define functions that belongs to a class: inside class definition, outside class definition. So these are the two ways from which we can define a normal function in C++ that belongs to a class. In the following example, we define a function inside the class and we name it my method. Note, you access methods just like you access attributes by creating an object of the class and using the dot syntax. So it is simply saying is that in this example, we have defined a function inside the class and we have given the name to that function my method. And the note is that you can access methods just like you access attributes, because we have learned about attributes in previous video. So like normally we access attributes in C++, so the same way we will be applying on method as well. Like if I want to access methods in C++, so I'll be using the same way which I use in attribute, and I want to just I will be creating an object of a class and then I will be using dot syntax like I use in access attributes. Now inside example we will be seeing, if we are starting with functions, like this is the first definition here of defining a function, which is inside example. So in inside example we have created a class in which I have written one function which is my method, the function name, and in this method function we have defined a class which is hello world. You can just not say it as a class, it's a text, but we have defined this text in class, so it will be considered as a class. And then we have defined this class in init main, which is my class, my object, and after that I have written dot my method, which is a function which we are using in my class. So this is an object of my class which we are using, and the method we are calling is this. So because it's a function here, so that's why I'm just calling this method. But if you are using some different name of your function, you can write that name here in the calling function, because if you are writing different name in the inside example and then you are calling the different name function in the init main thing, so it will be giving you an error. So that's why you need to call the same method thing or same function which you are calling at the top in inside example. Now if we talk about that, if you want to define the function outside the class, so to define a function outside the class definition, you have to declare it inside the class and then define it outside of the class. This is done specifying the name of the class followed the scope resolution operator followed by the name of function. So we will be using a scope resolution operator which will be helping us to define an outside class definition, and we can declare the class, and normally we can define it outside the class. So this is an outside example in which we have normally created the class like we have created an inside example, and in that we have used a void method which is my method. This is a function name. You can use different function name as well, but I'm using the same function name so that it will be not really confusing for you. In outside and in inside I'm using same function name which is my method. And after writing this function name, if I move down, so we have defined method function definition outside the class. Like here we have defined method function inside the class, and now we'll be defining the same method function outside the class, which will be void my class, means my class name, and after that I'll be writing my function name which is my method, and in this class and function name I'll be defining my text which I want to print in my output, which is scout hello world. You can add some other text as well if you want. Then I'll be calling this function in init main class so that I can get my output running, which is as hello world. So this is the thing. Now if we talk about parameters, so you can also add parameters in these functions which we are using or in these classes. So the parameters you will be adding, like you will be first of all adding the starting codes here, then you can create normally a class. In that you can just create a function name which is as a speed, and in this speed function I have defined two parameters which is init and max speed. So these two will be called as parameters. If you have not seen my parameters video, so you can check that out, because in that I have explained you if we are working with parameters, like if we are using parameters in functions, so how we can do that. You can check that out video if you haven't checked that, so that you can have a clear mindset if we are using parameters with functions, so how we can use it. So normally you can use parameters in this thing as well, which is class methods. So class methods is just like you are using a class inside a function or outside a function. And now to create an object of class which is as car, which we have written here, so I'll be just doing like I'll be creating a count in which I will be writing my class name which is my object dot speed, and I'll be defining a function, means I'll be calling the function speed 200 so that I can get an argument printed in my output which will be as 200, like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'll be first of all copying my first example which is inside example here of my class method, and then I will be just moving on to my Google Chrome here so that I can work with my Replit IDE, because you all know that when we were using C++ previously on in every video we were using this Replit IDE here. So in this video as well I'll be using my Replit IDE. I'll be just moving here and I'll be changing the title of my REPL. I'll be writing here class methods, or you can write class method in C++, or you can write class methods as well. Now what I'm going to do is I'll be pressing enter so that I can save this thing. After saving this, you can just see we have copied this thing, and I'll be just moving here and I'll be removing these all things. First of all, you have to add starting code here because we haven't added that. And then I will be moving down and I'll be writing using namespace std as well, and then paste it. After pasting these things, you can just write it if you don't have, but I'll be providing the link in description. From there you can get these things here which I am getting. Now if we talk about this class which we have added here, which is my class, and in my class we have added some other things as well, which is function, and the function name which we have given is my method. And when we are defining a function in a class, it will be called as a class method which we are defining here. Now I'll be just running it to check what output I'm getting in my terminal or in my console here. So I will be running it. After running, if I show you, only we are getting hello world printed, because if we talk about why we are getting hello world printed, so the reason is that because we have defined this hello world in my class, and in my class we have used this my method function in which I have written a text as hello world, and I have defined this my method function, or you can say I have called this my method function in my init main class. That's why the output only we are getting is hello world, because the text which we are using is only this one. Now if I move down and if I add any other text here in my inside function, which will be as like I am learning C++, like this normally, which we were getting. And what I'm going to do is now here like this, learning C++ normally, and make it just capital. After doing it, what I'm going to do is I'll be running it again. So you will be getting two texts printed in your console, which will be as hello world, and the second text which you will be getting is I am learning C++. If I run it here, so you can just see we are getting both the things printed here. But thing is that I am learning, which the text which we are getting here is just with this hello world. So I want this I am learning should be going like in second line. So for doing that, simply you have to use endl like this. And after using it, if you run it again, so now you will be getting this I am learning C++ in second line and hello world in first line. Move, run it. After running, you can just see hello world we are getting is in first line and I'm learning C++ is in second line. So like this, you can use C++ and you can add these things here. So now we have understand if we are using an inside method to define a class method, so how we can do that. And now same, we will be using this thing with outside method, which is this one. So I'll be copying this outside method here, and you can also use this thing with parameters as well. But I'll be just simply moving to my Google Chrome to check it with outside methods if we are using this thing here. So I'll be removing these all things, and if I run here, so after running, you will be getting a output as hello world printed again, because we are using same text here. And now you can use same text which we have added in inside function, you can add here as well to see what output you're getting. I'll be writing I am learning C++, and then you have to close it and write here endl, so that we can get this I am learning C++ in second line, not in the first line with hello world. What I'm going to do is now I'll be simply running it. After running, if I show you, you can just see hello world in first line, I am learning C++ in second line, so that we can get all the things printed easily and cleanly. So like this, you can use this outside method here. So I hope you understand if we are using inside and outside method in class method, so how you can do that. And now we will be using same thing with parameters, like if we are using parameters in class method, so how we can do that. So I'll be moving on to my document again, and I will be copying this is a parameter. Like this is a class method, but we have used parameters as well in this class method, so that's why I'm calling it as a parameter. Then I'll be moving on to my Google Chrome and I'll be pasting these things, so you can just see now we have used same class name with parameters here. So what I'm going to do is here, I'll be just running this thing to check what output I'm getting if I run it. So you can just see the output we are getting is printed 200 because we have defined nothing in my class or in my function name, which is speed. And in parameters also I haven't defined any number or any string. I have only defined this init, which is a variable, and this max speed, which is our class name, which we are adding here. So that's why the only output which we are getting is 200, because in dot speed, which is a function which we are defining when we are calling this function, so we are writing 200 inside the calling function of speed. That's why we are getting the output as 200 printed in our console. So I hope you understand how we are getting this 200 printed in the output and how we can use parameters when we are starting with class methods here. So if you have understand this video in which we have used inside function, in which we have used outside function, which are the two methods to define functions in class method, and the last thing which we have learned is like if we are using parameters with class methods, so how we can do that. So if you understand this video and if you enjoy this tutorial here from start, so remember to hit a like to this video. And if you're new on this channel, want to see more videos like that, so remember to subscribe, and after subscribing, hit notification bell as well, so you can get the notifications of all my coming up videos which I'll be uploading in future. So now I'll be meeting you next project or in next tutorial here of C++ from start. So for today, goodbye.